Hello everybody, my name is Sankara, and in today's video I'm going to show you my Slifer the Sky Dragon deck profile using 3 of the Slifer the Sky Dragon structure deck. So if you really like Slifer and you bought 3 of these bad boys, this is what you should do with it, pretty much. So let's get right into the deck profile. This is very much a casual deck, though it could potentially work against a meta deck if you get lucky and get Slifer out real quick. Slifer has some insane field presence with his effect, but I'll get to that later. So let's start off the deck profile. So for this deck, initially with the Slifer structure deck, it went for more of a token strategy, summon a bunch of tokens and use them as tributes. I didn't really like that strategy because it was a bit slow for my taste, I thought, and you needed to use your normal summons to get your tokens out most of the time. It didn't really ring well with me, so instead I went for a dark special summon deck rather than the token deck. There are still some token cards in here that are pretty good. I'll show you some other ideas for what you can swap out if you prefer more tokens, but I elected for the dark deck. So first we have 3 Arima the Wicked Warden. This guy can add your Lair of Darkness from your deck to your hand by discarding him. He can also tribute a dark monster to draw a card, which is very good. Drawing cards is pretty essential in Egyptian God decks, especially for Slifer's attack. It also gets to your Slifer quicker, which is very important, of course. And yeah, also if you have Lair of Darkness on the field, then you can tribute your opponent's monsters to activate his effect and draw a card, which is very useful, of course. Next up we got 1 Beast King Barbaros. This card's actually pretty insane. If you want to normal summon him, you can summon him without tributing, which is fine, but you can also choose to tribute 3 monsters to summon this guy, in which case, if you do, he destroys all cards your opponent controls, which is pretty awesome. Especially in an Egyptian God deck when your kind of main goal is to tribute 3 monsters to summon something. This card can definitely come in handy if your opponent's got some trouble on the field. Blow up everything, attack for 3,000, it's pretty great. Next we got a Break the Magical Warrior. I wasn't sure if I was going to include this one, but it is another dark monster. You know, dark monsters are necessary for this strategy. And you can also get rid of a spell or trap on the field by removing a counter, so he's not too bad. 1900 attack with the counter. Yeah, he's a pretty good card. At least back in the day he was. For this deck, he's a pretty good card. And yeah, you might want to swap it out for a Electromagnetic Turtle or Scapegoat even, as well, if you prefer. But yeah, if you like destroying spells and traps, this is pretty good. If you know you're going into casual play just against friends and they don't really use any troublesome spell or traps, then you might want to swap it out for something else. But otherwise, I'd say it's pretty good. The back row destruction is always helpful, so, you know, it works. Next we have 3 Caligo Clawcrow. This card is one of the most important cards of the deck, and it's partly the reason why I chose to go for a dark special summon strategy instead, because of this guy. If you control a dark monster, you can special summon Clawcrow from your hand. You can only do it once per turn this way. It's pretty useful. It's easy enough to get out 2 monsters, and he just really helps to get the 3rd one out, which is just fantastic. Next we have Card Guard. This guy will protect himself or another card with his effect. 1900 attack with a counter on him. Yeah, he's alright. He's not too bad. He's a dark monster. Mostly has him for that protection, which is very useful to protect your tributes. Since, yeah, that is a big problem with this deck, is your tributes just getting run over before you contribute them. So this guy is very helpful for that. Next we have 1 Duke Shade, the Sinister Shadow Lord. This guy doesn't, I mean, he can special summon himself, but he's not as quick as Clawcrow, though he is still quite useful. You can add him to your hand with Arima's effect. You can also tribute your opponent's monsters to summon him if you got a Lair of Darkness on the field, or if they simply have dark monsters, I believe. He doesn't specify, it just says tribute any number of dark monsters. Though it doesn't say either side of the field, so maybe not, but with Lair of Darkness you can at least tribute 1 of your opponent's monsters to special summon this guy, which can be an extra special summon, which is very handy. And his 2nd effect doesn't really come up because you don't have any dark monsters in your graveyard. Level 5 or higher dark monsters, rather, I should say. So that doesn't really come up, but his 1st effect, special summon, definitely useful, and of course you can tribute your opponent's monsters, summon him with Lair of Darkness. Next we got Reactor Slime. This guy is actually pretty insane with Lair of Darkness. I may have the effect wrong, but you can tribute him during the battle phase, either player's turn, to special summon a Metal Reflect Slime from your deck. Now, Lair of Darkness turns every monster on the field into a dark monster, and once per turn you can tribute 1 of your opponent's monsters instead of yours to activate the effect, to activate a card effect. This guy's effect does require that he tributes a monster, though it is this card. It does say you can tribute this card, so I'm not sure if that would work, but I believe if you have Lair of Darkness, you can tribute an opponent's card to special summon, or to set Middle Reflect Slime straight from your deck. Also, this guy special summons 2 tokens once per turn, which is pretty insane. However, if you use that effect, you can't normal or special summon monsters for the rest of the turn, which kind of downplays that, but it still gets you 3 monsters right off the bat. If your opponent tries to attack it, you just tribute it out, set Middle Reflect Slime. That's another easy summon right there. It's a pretty good card. Again, like I said in the previous video in my review of the God card decks, this guy works a lot better if you have Egyptian God Slime. If you do happen to have God Slime, then definitely chuck that in your extra deck. If you have God Slime, then I would actually recommend running 3 Reactor Slimes, 3 Middle Reflect Slimes, swap them out for anything. This is a much better strategy, but only if you have God Slime. If you don't have God Slime, then he's too easy to run over. It's just not as good. God Slime is an insane card though, especially with Egyptian Gods. He can count as 1 or 3 tributes for the summon of a monster. He's pretty nuts, and he's, you know, can't be destroyed easily. He's got 3,000 attack and defense. It's insane. But if you don't have any God Slime, then just 1 Reactor Slime, 1 Middle Reflect Slime, that is enough. That is plenty, because he's not strong enough. He's not strong enough to survive. Next, of course, we have the man himself, the main man, 3 Slifer the Sky Dragon. So this card, he's pretty awesome. He's one of the best Egyptian God cards. Unfortunately, unlike Obelisk, he can be targeted, but Slifer's effect alone gives him some insane field presence. Anytime your opponent summons a monster in attack mode, it loses 2,000 attack points, and if its attack is reduced to 0, then it is destroyed. So if you get this out quick, then your opponent, basically, it's hard to do anything to this, because they just can't summon. They can't normal summon, it dies. Special summon and attack, it dies, probably, most likely. And without your normal summon, it's going to be hard to get something big out as well. So, Slifer the Sky Dragon is a pretty insane card just because of that effect. He has 1,000 attack and defense for each card in your hand, but even if you just have 1 card in your hand, again, that second effect is nuts. They would have to summon something with at least 3,000 attack in order to battle it. If you have 1 card in your hand, even if you have no cards, they need to summon something with over 2,000 attack to attack it, just to have anything in general. So Slifer's pretty good even if you have low cards in your hand, just because of that second effect. He's got some insane field presence, and it's amazing. Next we got a Book of Moon, pretty staple. 2 card advance. This lets you rearrange top cards of your deck. It also gives you an extra tribute summon, which can be very handy in this deck. It is easy to get 3 monsters out, but that normally uses up your normal summon. So this card definitely helps. You can have an extra tribute summon, summon 3 monsters, activate this, tribute summon Slifer. Also, the other main reason we have this is, whoops, I got rid of one. I accidentally pressed the right click. The reason we have 2 of this especially is because we also run the True Name. No, wrong button. There we go. The True Name, which I'll get into later. So we have an enemy controller. This card's good to protect your monsters from attack, protects your tribute. Same with Book of Moon, protects your monsters, also stops card effects. You can also tribute one of your monsters to take control of an opponent's monster until the end phase. If you have 3 monsters, you got this. You might just want to get rid of one of your opponent's a troublesome monster or something and tribute it to summon Slifer. I mean, that works either way, but normally you'll just go for the switch it to defense position to protect your monsters from an attack. Next we have Harvey's Feather Duster. Obviously, why wouldn't you? Lair of Darkness, you only need 1. It's not that staple in the deck, though it is very helpful. But if you have Arima anyway, then you can just discard him to add a Lair of Darkness. It definitely has its uses. I have not found that I need more than 1 though. If you find that you want more than 1, then swap it out for something, or swap something else for another one. But I've only found that one seems to be enough in this deck for some reason. I mean, it's not that staple of a card. It does definitely help. You can tribute your opponent's monsters, and it special summons tokens during the end phase whenever you tribute a monster that turn. It's pretty good. Definitely helpful, but it's not that needed. Then you need more of them. Next we have 2 March of the Monarchs. This will protect your Slifer from card effects, can't be targeted or destroyed. Tribute summon monsters can't be targeted or destroyed, so it's a very useful card. Again, if you have, what's it called, Mound of the Bound Creator, add 2 of these instead. It's better. It's much better. While this does provide protection for your Beast King Barbaros as well, this card is still better. Actually, this still provides protection for Barbaros. Is he a level 10? No, he's not, actually. Never mind, it doesn't. But still, Mount of the Bound Creator is better, and then I would also put in a Terraforming as well, which you can use to add Lair of Darkness. This deck doesn't come with a Terraforming, but if you add a Terraforming, go for that as well. And so we have 1 Monster Reborn, pretty standard. You can use it to special summon your final Tribute. If you have 2 monsters on the field, reborn back another one, Tribute for Slifer or Barbaros. Or you can use it to special summon Slifer the Sky Dragon. Just keep in mind that Slifer will go to the graveyard during the end phase if you special summon him. But it still works. It's definitely helpful. If you have a lot of cards in your hand, you can go for the OTK with a Monster Reborn. So it's not too bad. Definitely works. But mainly you'll be using Reborn just to get that 3rd Tribute. Same with 1-time passcode. Special summons a token with 2,000 attack and defense position. So that's a pretty tough token. 2,000. That's pretty nice. That's always good. Easy summon, but it's also just to get that 3rd Tribute out. So you just go for the Tribute. Or go for the 1-time passcode to get the 3rd Tribute, special summon Slifer, nice and easy. Pot of Avarice, this is just a good card. Send shuffle 5 monsters from your graveyard into the deck, draw 2 cards. Drawing 2 cards is always fantastic. And finally, well not finally, but next, we have 3 Soul Crossing. This card is the key card in the deck. This card is absolutely amazing. Triple Soul Crossing in any Slifer deck you have, 3 Soul Crossing. This card is bonkers. This lets you tribute any number of your opponent's monsters to summon a Divine Beast. Okay, so first of all, it's a quick play spell. You can use it in your opponent's turn, and its effect says immediately after it resolves, tribute summon 1 Divine Beast monster. So it gets you an extra tribute summon. If you've already used up your normal summon, you can pop this still and tribute your opponent's monsters. It lets you tribute any number of your opponent's monsters, so up to 3, you don't have to tribute 3, you don't have to tribute just 1, you can tribute 2, you can tribute 3, you can tribute 1, it depends on what you've got on the field, what your opponent has. Soul Crossing is just absolutely amazing. It is a fantastic card. It's great, it's great. You want Soul Crossing, it can be used during your opponent's turn, interrupt plays. And it also doesn't target. Doesn't target, doesn't destroy, so it can out-Dragoon, it can out-troublesome things like that can't be targeted or destroyed. It just gets rid of them. It just gone. Easy. 3 monsters. Nice. Done. Summon Slifer. It's fantastic. It's amazing. Next we have 2 Swords of Revealing Light. I originally had 1. I opted for 2 because this deck does rely on survival of tributes and they are very easily run over. I also used to have a Electromagnetic Turtle, but I never really got it off and it's hard to get it in the graveyard. There's no like Foolish Burial or anything with this deck, so I went for 2 Swords of Revealing Light. Problem is, this could be destroyed by a card effect, Hubby's Feather Duster. It could easily be taken out, especially in today's times, but again, this deck is meant for casual play, so if you're up against a casual opponent, doesn't have much spell or trap destruction, you should be fine. Protects your monsters for 3 turns, which is like just enough time to get out 3 monsters and summon Slifer, so it's great anyway. Next we have 2, the True Name. The True Name is... it's a great card if you can get it off. This is why we also have 2 card advance, because True Name lets you declare 1 card name, and then you look at the top card of your deck. If you declared the right name, you add it to your hand. Then you can special summon a divine monster from your deck or add it to your hand. So if you have 3 tributes ready, if you're ready to tribute it, add it to the hand. Otherwise, you can just special summon Slifer straight off the bat. He will be sent to the graveyard during the end phase due to his effect. But still, True Name, it's fantastic. It searches out Slifer. It gets you an extra card as well. Use that in combination with Card Advance, which will also give you an extra tribute summon. So if you want to add Slifer to your hand, even if you've used your normal summon, you can still summon him again. And yeah, it's fantastic if you can get it off. Yeah, it definitely just works with Card Advance. Otherwise, you don't really pull it off, because unless you have a really good Heart of the Cards, you can guess what the top card is. But otherwise, yeah, it's still a good card though. Fantastic. I've never really drawn into the True Name without Card Advance, so it works for me. If you find that it doesn't work for you and you always pull True Name without Card Advance, never get Card Advance, then by all means swap it out for something else, but definitely works, I think. It pulls off well, 2 of each, it's fine. Thunder Force Attack, this is the Slifer specific card. We only use 1 because you do need Slifer on the field to activate it, and while this deck does go for summoning Slifer, if you don't have Slifer, it is a dead card, so just the 1, and 1 is fine. It destroys all of your opponent's monsters and then draws a bunch of cards, which is like bloody brilliant. Like, it's amazing, but yeah, if you don't have Slifer, it's no good to you, so just the 1. And it's like having a Raigeki. You don't run multiple Raigekis, mainly because it's limited, but still, you don't run multiple Raigekis, so it's like, whatever. Next we have Back to the Front. This is just another reborn, like I said before. It gets you your 3rd tribute. It can also be used to summon Slifer. Just keep in mind it will summon it in defense mode, so it's not the most useful for summoning Slifer. You won't get that attack off, but you can do it in your opponent's turn. So if you want to spring this on your opponent's turn, special summon Slifer, and then Slifer's effect will go off whenever they try to summon something. Again, like I said before, Slifer has some incredible field presence just by being there with his effect. So it's not too bad to use this to summon Slifer if you have the opportunity. Next we have a Metal Reflect Slime. This is mainly just to add with Reactor Slime. It's also a very easy tribute to get out. Once it's set, you can activate it at any time, 3000 defense. It summons itself as a monster. If you didn't know, it has 3000 defense, and you contribute it to summon Slifer. Next we have a Mirror Force, again, just to protect your monsters. You might want an extra Mirror Force. I find 1 is generally enough, but yep, Mirror Force, nice and easy. 3 Reckless Greeds. This card is great. It's basically a pot of greed, however you skip your next 2 draw phases, but it's still fantastic. Gets you to your Slifer quicker, and can also boost Slifer's attack in an emergency. It's also a trap card, so you can surprise boost Slifer's attack if need be. And finally, we have Ultimate Divine Beast. This card's pretty good, lets you special summon Slifer from the graveyard, but only during the battle phase on your opponent's turn when they declare an attack. It will switch the attack target to Slifer, so it's not fantastic, it's not great or anything, but it definitely has its uses, so it's not too bad, I guess. Downside is that it has to be during the battle phase. There are some other strategies you might want to go for. These cards are also pretty good. Golden Apples gets you 1 token. Supply Squad, draw more cards. Draw of Fate gets you an extra card. Can be useful to add your Slifer or any key card. It can be useful, it's just too much, it's too random for me, and I never really thought that I would have a use for it, so I didn't include it, but if you want it, it is a very cool card. Scapegoat gets you 4 tokens, fantastic, love it. Electromagnetic Turtle ends a battle phase. Again, this is fantastic. I swapped it out for a Swords of Revealing Light though, but if you prefer the turtle, then go for the turtle. These are the main more other cards that you would add. There are, of course, other cards in the deck. What have we got? Which one's the Slifer deck? This one, Millennium Seeker was a bit trash, I thought. Same with Breaker the Dark Magical Warrior, just because he needs a tribute. Yeah, not a whole lot. I chose best cards. Talus could be added. He could be pretty good. Where is he? There he is. He could be pretty good, gets you 3 tokens, but it was too slow for my tastes. I wanted to go faster, which is why I went for the special summon strat. I used to use Clock Wyvern, but I took it out. He can easily get you 2 monsters, but again, like I said, too slow. I wanted to go for more special summons. He's also not a dark monster. Phantom Sky Blaster. This guy's not too bad. He can definitely get you a bunch of tokens out, and he is a dark monster. If you want to put this guy in, it is a good card. Find something to swap out for it. I'm not sure what, maybe a Reckless Greed or a Caligula Clawcrow even, one of them. For Phantom Sky Blaster, he's even limited. It's just that this deck is mainly for casual play, and in casual play your opponent doesn't get a whole lot of monsters out usually, which this card's effect relies on, so I decided against it. But if you're up against opponents who special summon a lot, then by all means, Phantom Sky Blaster, he's a pretty good card. That is another one that I would add. So let's jump into solo mode and give this a few test hands, just to show you how it goes. Okay, this is a pretty shit hand, but this ain't the best example. Okay, I'm just gonna reset. Alright, so here we have not a bad hand. This is a pretty common hand to have Reactor Slime in your first hand. So you can summon your Reactor Slime, is what I would do. Summon Reactor Slime, use this effect, get 2 tokens. Now you have 3 monsters. You do have a lone Reactor Slime out, but you also have Arima, so you can discard this card to add Lair of Darkness to your hand. And then if you activate this, everything becomes dark. And correct me if I'm wrong, okay? Correct me if I'm wrong about this, but I believe you can use Reactor Slime's effect with Lair of Darkness to tribute one of your opponent's monsters to set Metal Reflect Slime from the deck. I'm pretty sure that's how it works, though I could be wrong because it does say tribute this card, so you might have to tribute that. Either way, it's still good. That's still 3 monsters, even if this dies. Draw a card, hopefully Slifer. It's not, but Metal Reflect Slime can be a 3rd monster in defense mode. And that's your 3 tributes if you drew Slifer, which I didn't. But you can also reborn into something else, bring back Arima, and then you can use that to tribute your opponent's monsters. That I know you can do. Tribute your opponent's monsters, draw a card, fantastic. Or if you prefer, you could instead add the Duke Shade to your hand, and then tribute everything on the field and summon him for 2,500, 3,000 attack, depending on how many cards your opponent has. So it's not too bad, not too bloody bad. Alright, what else we got? This hand is pretty good. We got Soul Crossing, we got that. We don't have Slifer, however, but we do have Swords of Revealing Light, so just activate that, set that. You could summon this if you wish, or not, so you could set it. Either way, or if you want, wait for Lair of Darkness. You still have Metal Reflect Slime to protect you in an emergency. But now you just wait for 3 turns. Swords of Revealing Light. 1 turn. Reactor Slime, go for it. 2 tokens, nice and easy. 2 turns. The True Name, okay, not bad, not bad. 3 turns. Slifer, no, but Beast King Barbaros, that works too. Even if one of these somehow dies, you still got this to have another tribute. Tribute all 3 of them. Summon Beast King Barbaros, he destroys every card your opponent controls, not just monsters, not just spells, every card, attack for 3,000. That's fantastic, we love that, 10 out of 10, then you get your Slifer. And of course if you have Slifer, we have Soul Crossing. If they summon 3 monsters, tribute them immediately. You can set it, use it on your opponent's turn, as soon as they summon 3 monsters, boom, Soul Crossing, summon Slifer, 3,000 attack. Next turn, draw, Thunder Force, blow up all their monsters, draw a bunch of cards, win. That's game. That's gonna be game. So this deck's consistency isn't half bad. It's not the worst, it ain't the best. This hand is fantastic, Soul Crossing plus Slifer. There is a little bit of luck involved, there always is. It's not a meta deck, it's not the most consistent, there's not a whole lot of ways to get your pieces. This hand is actually pretty bloody brilliant. Set this, if you want, discard Arima to add Lair of Darkness, or just normal summon him. I would discard him to get the Lair. I would get the Lair, I think. Then summon your card guard. And once your opponent is ready to go into battle phase, you can also set this too. When they're ready to go into battle phase, spring the Soul Crossing if they have 2 or more monsters. If they have 2 monsters, tribute them both, tribute your card guard. Boom, summon Slifer. If they have 3 monsters, just tribute their 3 monsters, summon Slifer. And even if they have an extra monster that can get over 2,000 attack, if they have a 2,500 attack monster on the field, run into Slifer, boom, Reckless Greed, boom, Slifer's 4,000 attack, they die. It's great, it's fantastic. Of course, Slifer's effect would reduce it to less than 2,000 generally, but hey, if it happens, it happens. Maybe they summon 5-headed dragon, boom, Slifer the Sky Dragon, 4,000 attack, kill it. Nice and easy. So yeah, deck's not too bad. It works pretty well. Again, it's not a meta deck, it's mainly for casual play, but nonetheless, I'll go back to the deck just so you can see it again. I think it went pretty well. The Slifer the Sky Dragon structure deck is not fantastic. Like I said in my review, it's not great. It's just okay. But it does have Soul Crossing, and Soul Crossing is amazing, so mainly focus the deck. Whatever strategy you want to use for the Slifer deck, triple Soul Crossing. Just focus on Soul Crossing. You want Soul Crossing. If you have other cards that can add Soul Crossing to your hand somehow, you want that. Soul Crossing plus Slifer, it's amazing. That's the key strategy in this deck, is Soul Crossing, Slifer, done. You're fine. If you can do that, if you get Soul Crossing and Slifer, you're gonna be just fine. So don't even worry about it. So thank you all so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed today's video. I hope this was I hope you found this to be a good deck. If you made a different version of the triple Slifer the Sky Dragon deck, then let me know down in the comments. I would love to hear about it. If you think yours is better, or if you like mine, if you end up making my one, then let me know that too. Leave a comment. Leave a like if you enjoyed, that would be fantastic. It also lets YouTube know that, hey, you're alright. Satisfy me by hitting the subscribe button. And thank you all so much for watching. Next week I will be doing the triple Obelisk deck, so if you like Obelisk, go for that. So if you like Obelisk, subscribe, hit the bell icon to be notified when that comes out. It will be out next week, and if it's already out, then you can click the card above to go straight to it. Thank you all so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed. My name has been Sin Cara, and until next time. See ya.